Mr. Elbers is a seasoned airline business leader with over 30 years of aviation experience. He is building the next stage of the incredible Indigo journey, further fulfilling its purpose of giving wings to the nation by connecting people and aspirations and executing the strategy of bringing Indigo towards new heights across new frontiers. Please give a round of applause for Mr. Elbers.
Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Please allow me to start with a little video before I go through my exposé.
India is soaring. A nation that is the world's fastest growing economy and prepares to be the world's third largest economy by 2027. A nation rooted firm in its rich cultural heritage while moving ahead on the path of economic development and innovation. Today, aspirations are not reserved for the few, but part of the identity of every Indian. As the nation takes off, it is Indigo who gives wings to the nation, propelling India one flight at a time, connecting people and aspirations. Today, we are the 7th largest airline in the world in daily flights. In 2023 alone, we welcomed 100 million customers on board, with over 2,000 plus daily flights safely through the skies, serving over 300,000 customers every day on time. We top the charts for on-time performance, earning us a place among the top 5 airlines globally. As part of our digital transformation, we introduced HICSA Sky, our first AI-enabled chatbot. We are not just hassle-free and courteous, but also have the lowest complaint rate in India. With a network of over 120 destinations, our wings span across 85 plus domestic and 30 plus international destinations, and 50 plus destinations worldwide with our strategic code share partnerships. We also broke all records with the single biggest aircraft order of 500 aircraft. And now, with almost 1,000 aircraft on order to be delivered until 2035. Not just planes, we reach out with our hearts through our CSR initiatives. We are also one of the world's youngest aircraft fleets, with a focus on carbon-neutral fleet of e-buses and other initiatives showing our environmental commitment. We further expanded our cargo operations, contributing to the economic growth of the nation. In our pursuit of inclusivity, we've made flying accessible to all. We are driven by girl power and a diverse workforce. We also employed over 200 people from the DEI community, and most importantly, from taking pride in being Indian to taking pride in being made in Indigo. The collective spirit of our 60 stars and the power of we makes us a profitable airline for our customers and the entire nation. 5 quarters of profitable financial results post-COVID speaks volumes of unwavering dedication. Our people and network are as ambitious and diverse as the country itself. With our commitment and dedication, we have touched millions of lives. Indigo is more than just an airline. It's an aspiration towards new heights and across new frontiers. India by Indigo.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for this warm welcome here today. Candidly, I'm a bit of fish out of the water. This is all about hotels, rooms, growth, and yet here I am as an airline. But I guess it would just underline the relevance and the correlation between the hospitality and hotels at the one hand side and what we do in the airline industry on the other hand side. So let me take you through a 15-minute journey of what Indigo stands for, where Indigo is heading, and how does it affect possibly your respective businesses. So this is India's time, and I guess we see it everywhere. But when it comes to air travel, we probably see it even more. And when home is the third largest economy in the world in 2027, we deserve to have airlines matching the size, the potential, and the ambition of the country itself. And if we look, it is not only the economy itself, but also the fact that India has such a young population, which will propel forward travel and hospitality. And the hospitality and the aviation sector, as I mentioned earlier, are closely connected and are closely combined. And actually, Santosh, I'm not sure if you're still in the room, but I already got some great ideas from his presentation. We're not flying to Puducherry yet, and we should, listening to his presentation we saw a few minutes ago. So a lot of correlation between these two businesses. India's travel and tourism GDP is expected to grow around 8% per year over the next decade. Aviation is expected to grow even stronger going forward. And clearly all the hotel investments are beneficial for what we do as an airline. It's a little bit of a chicken and egg discussion. Do we put flights first and then hotels, or are the hotels first and then we put flights there? So the interaction we have as airlines with many of the hoteliers here in India is incredibly important, because it will stimulate demand, it will stimulate travel, and it will enable us to continue to grow. So if we look at the Indian aviation boom today, we do have in the year past roughly 150 million domestic travelers, which again, linked to the size of the population, is a very small percentage. Around 70 million international. That is expected pretty much to double by the end of the decade. So that is, as we all know, in 6 years' time, 15% compounded average growth. That's the growth level we would be talking about domestic air travel. International is expected to grow even faster. And why do we believe that this is such an interesting number and such a credible number? Look just at these statistics. Just for a moment, think about it. China and India have about the same population, 1.4 something billion. Coming myself from a country of 17, that's in the rounding off when we speak about the population here. So if we look at the population of India, and we look at the population of China, and then we look to the number of commercial planes in operation in the respective countries, there's around 750 aircraft in operation in India. There's a little short of 3,000 in operation in China. Admittedly, the landmass is different. There's a few other differences, but that just underlines the enormous potential, leave alone if we were to look to Europe or the US. So that potential for Indian aviation is clearly substantiated not only by the economic growth, by the young population, by the GDP which is likely to grow, but also around the very low basis we're coming from today. So today, around half an aircraft per million people in the country itself. That, again, is a very low number compared to other parts in the world. Which means that this aviation landscape is supposed to take off. And finally, I must say, we have a lot of new airports coming up. In the next 2 years, we have the second airport in Delhi coming up, we have the second airport in Mumbai coming up, and early 23, the second airport in Goa was opening. Again, think here about all the big cities in the world, and we saw a few earlier. Tokyo, Shanghai, Rio de Janeiro, Buenos Aires, London, Paris, they all have multiple airports. Delhi only had one, Mumbai only had one. So the potential to grow in airports in the country is recognized and is propelled forward. And recently we see a lot of strong government initiatives to provide that aviation structure, as a firm belief that aviation and economic growth are going hand in hand. And then if you think about the geographical position of India, it is not only what is traveling within India, but 65% of the world population is living within a 5 to 6 hour radius around India itself. So if you think about that, the potential to build India into a strong aviation hub is enormous, really. 65% of the world population within a 5 to 6 hour flight. That in itself is an incredible opportunity to further grow. So if you look to the location of India and what it could do in connecting traffic, which today is either connecting in the Middle East or in Southeast Asia, I think we have a wonderful opportunity to have that connecting here in India itself. So becoming a global aviation hub means a lot of collaboration is needed within the system itself. There's no long history of our own Indian aviation manufacturing part, but that's changing rapidly. And that's incredibly important, because if we're going to be home of 2,000 planes in 5 to 10 years from now, we need to have an infrastructure in place in terms of airports, but also very much in maintenance facilities, hangars, hotel capacity, and what have you. Important aspect to build this global aviation system and hub. And here I must say Indigo is 17 years young, and we're honored to have Kapil Bajaj in the room here as the initial founder, promoter of Indigo itself. And that requires a vision, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to see something which no one else sees, I guess that's what's called a vision. And when this airline was founded 17 years ago, clearly there was a vision at that time that India was on the verge of an aviation boom. And that verge is here today. And thanks to you, thanks to the foundation really which was made 17 years ago, I think it's an incredible asset. It took Ryanair, let me phrase it differently, it took Southwest 35 years to reach 100 million customers a year. It took Ryanair, I think something like 29 years to reach 100 million customers a year. It took Indigo just 17 years to reach 100 million customers a year. I think that in itself speaks to the potential of India and speaks to the opportunities which the Indian market provides actually for aviation and for aviation air travel. So since 2006, connecting the nation, giving wings to the nation. And I cannot be more pleased by visiting smaller stations of Indigo. If you go to Guwahati, all the way up in the northeast, and you see what aviation does, where Indigo has created a small mini hub connecting different parts of the northeast to Guwahati and then to the rest of the country, you really see that giving wings to the nation is not just a slogan, but really something Indigo is doing. And that has grown over the years. And today, that has made to 2,000 flights a day, 120 destinations, 100 million customers a year, 350 aircraft, and another incredible 1,000 aircraft on order. And why did we place that order, which was the largest order in the history of aviation, last summer? We did it because we want to be a credible partner also with the aviation ecosystem. So if we speak with airports today, we know what's out there for the next 10 years. If we speak with some of you building hotels, the big difference between some of your business and our business is that we have flexible assets. We can reallocate them, we can open a route. If it doesn't work, we shift it somewhere else. Once you've built the hotel, you want to be sure that traffic and business is there for the next years ahead. So we want to be a reliable partner for many of our business partners. Having this amount of planes on order helps us to be that reliable partner. It also helps us to know how many people we need, how many pilots we need to train, how many mechanics, how many engineers, how many cabin crew. Today, we have around 4,000 pilots. Fast forward, 5 years from now, when we're going to double, we need to have 8,000. So how are we going to train 4,000 pilots? How are we going to train thousands and thousands of cabin crew? So this long-term planning is very important. Our 3 customer promises, right from the start of Indigo, on-time performance, affordable fares, and hassle-free service, that remains the very foundation and very cornerstone of Indigo. And we've added here an unparalleled network. And that network is not just one hub from one place. We basically operate all across the country. 2,000 flights a day, remember, and these are the departures for these specific stations. So it's pretty well spread across the nation. Of course, Delhi is a stronghold, but Mumbai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai, Ahmedabad, and Kolkata, it's all there in the picture, and we are just continue to expand. I think what's very important, and that would actually deserve a message in itself, 87% of India's population is within a 100-kilometer range of an Indigo-served airport. So when you speak about giving wings to the nation, we can assure that 87% of India's population is living within 100 kilometers, 2 hours drive, with a bit of bad luck, 3 hours drive, within range of the airport, which is a wonderful asset, speaking about giving wings to the nation. And that part is the domestic. So today, actually, if I would have given this speech last week, it would have been 87. We opened up our flight to Jakarta, Lakshadweep, actually this weekend, destination number 88. And international today, it is only 32, but rapidly expanding. We saw in the Booking.com presentation, Bali coming out strong. Actually, this very weekend, we opened Bangalore into Bali. So you see that Indigo is expanding. And today, the majority of international air travel is traveling on non-Indian carriers. So I think we have a wonderful opportunity to take a lot of that share, because a lot of the travelers are Indian originating. So we've recently added Baku, Nairobi, Tbilisi, and Tashkent as new destinations. And interestingly, and therefore I think the presentation of Booking, which we saw earlier, Santosh, the Indian travel demand is changing a lot. For those who have been to Dubai and those who have been to Phuket, now they want to do something else. So they book a flight with Indigo to Tbilisi. We started with 3 a week, we're now up to 7. So you see that the Indian traveler is actually changing rapidly and expanding its horizons across actually more range and different locations. So this internationalization is not done only by ourselves, we do that to some extent with our partners. Strong international partners. We're connecting with Turkish Airlines in Istanbul, and we have a couple of other world-leading partnerships who are connecting in India itself here. So for some of your guests in hotels in different parts of the country, they fly in from different parts of the world and then connect in Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi or Kolkata, connect on an Indigo flight to go to one of our 88 destinations in the country itself. And as such, we're building a strong connecting hub. And these partnerships, in fact, are helping us also to create some brand awareness. Today, out of the 100 million customers, 90 plus are Indian customers. That will change over time. So we get a more international exposure. The fact that we're the 7th largest airline in the world is, in terms of daily departures, is probably well known in India. It's not so much known outside India. So these partnerships are really helping us to prepare for the ground for the next range. So I won't go into all the details, but you see that we do have code shares with Turkish Airlines, up to 35 destinations in Europe. We recently created a very innovative partnership with Qantas. We fly from 7 points in India into Singapore, and from there connect from points of Qantas into Australia. So the entire Indian diaspora living in Australia is connecting with Qantas to Singapore, and then connecting with us to any of these 7 cities. And that has allowed us to start flights, let's say, from Bhubaneswar into Singapore. Flights which in the past were not there, or they were served by foreign airlines. Now we can do that ourselves. Even we go as far as the US with 5 destinations in codeshare with Turkish Airlines. And again, we were very proud in August of last year. For the first time in history, Indigo was touching on African soil by flying directly into Nairobi. And that, again, is just the start of further expansions. So, number 7 in the world in terms of daily departures, number 6 in the world number of daily passengers, and that would also deserve the next step in what we're going to do in loyalty. Today we have a loyalty which is linked to a co-branded credit card. We're going to further build it up, because the change of the Indian landscape, where people used to fly once a year, now we see it rapidly changing. We fly 20 times a day between Delhi and Mumbai. We fly 14 times a day between Delhi and Bangalore. Those are not first-time flyers. They are frequent flyers. But then also we fly once a day from Jaisalmer to Delhi. We fly new flights, 400 new routes in the country itself. And that is really helping us. Talent, and I'm sure this is on top of your list as well, to make sure you keep the talent. We have a wonderful training academy where we train 2,000 people a day in order to match the demand, where we actually breed and train the culture of the company. And we're proud to do that, and with that, actually, that iFly Center, that's the name of it, those 2,000 people are basically right from the start getting educated and trained in what the culture of the company should be. And for a fast-growing company like ours, where we hire thousands of people a year, keeping that culture is an incredibly important part. And we're very proud, actually, to have the world's highest percentage of female pilots, 15%. World average is 5, we have 15%. And whoever drives in Delhi now and then, or Gurgaon rather, you'll see this subway station in Gurgaon, where about the entire station has turned into an Indigo station. There used to be just a signage. We have now dedicated that fully to our, what we call Indigo 60 Girl Power, which is a fantastic asset for the company, where we have a firm belief that in many parts of India, the female workforce is not where it can and where it should be. And with that, we hire, we train, we educate, we groom as part of actually the very foundation of the company. We're going to double towards the end of the decade. I showed earlier the expectations is Indian air travel will double towards the decade. That means Indigo should also have the ambition to double towards the end of the decade. So today, 2,000 daily flights, we're going to double. 100 million customers, we're going to double. 120 destinations, we're probably not going to double. But what we're going to do is fly much more from existing destinations to new places. One aircraft every week. So every Monday morning, I wake up and say, hey, it's a new week, new plane is coming in. Next Monday, new week, new plane is coming in. And that, ladies and gentlemen, gives us a wonderful opportunity to keep growing and keep expanding that network going forward. And with that, and I firmly believe that, if home is the most populous nation on planet Earth, if home is soon the third largest economy in the world, we should be able to have airlines supporting that size of the economy. And with that, we will be turning not only to a big domestic Indian carrier, but to a global aviation giant. Hospitality, and that's why I'm here, hospitality and aviation are jointly building gateways and are jointly making that connectivity. And again, we like to cooperate with many of you to make sure that providing of air travel capacity goes hand in hand with rooms. And together, I'm really sure we can continue to build on that and continue to work, Capital G, what you started 17 years ago and where we are today and the track which we're going to move forward. Thank you so much for your attention. I think I'm just in time, Indigo Standard Time. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.